Radio Romania International. You are listening to our 1-hour broadcast in English for listeners in Western Europe and Africa. We can also be heard on the internet at www.ri.ro, Channel 1. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter and other social media platforms. Our programs are also available on TuneIn, Radio Romania International 1, and in Europe via satellite Eutelsat 16A on 11,512 MHz, vertical polarization, azimuth 16 degrees east. We wish you good reception conditions.
This is Daniel Bills with the news, the headlines. Romania's Senate has endorsed the education laws, whereas teachers are continuing the all-out strike they kicked off on Monday. The heads of the diplomacies in Romania, Spain and Poland are inaugurating in Valencia a trilateral dialogue format. And scores of farmers from Romania have gone to Brussels to participate today in a protest rally of farmers and associations staged by the so-called Enlarged Visegrad Group. Romania's teachers are in the second day of their strike, and trade unions have declared they don't give up on their protest until the coalition government, PNL, PSD, UDMR, comes with a credible solution to their claims. Although teachers have voiced discontent over the offer made by the authorities, Prime Minister Ciucă has called on them to go back to schools and has invited the representatives of Parent-Student Association for a new round of talks over the situation in Romania's education system. In another development, the Senate in Bucharest on Monday endorsed the new education laws which are to be promulgated. According to the political parties in the ruling coalition, the measures stipulated in the undergraduate and university education are going to reform the system. In turn, the opposition believes the amendments aren't going to solve the existing problems. We'll have more on the issue after the news. Romania's Foreign Minister Bogdan Ionescu, jointly with his Spanish and Polish counterparts, José Manuel Alvarez Bueno and Zbigniew Brau, respectively, is inaugurating the trilateral format Romania, Spain, Poland during a meeting to take place in the Spanish city of Valencia. According to a communiqué of the Romanian Foreign Ministry, the beginning of this trilateral dialogue represents a materialization of the close cooperation between the three countries at the EU and NATO levels, in accordance with the similar and interconnected strategic interests, even if they are at the different extremities of the European continent. Furthermore, each of these three countries has special responsibilities at the EU and NATO borders, the sources say. The agenda of the trilateral talks includes the top priorities of the Spanish presidency of the European Council, the upcoming two summits of the European political communities in Chișinău on June the 1st and Granada on October the 5th, the strategic resilience and the EU enlargement, the migration, the consolidation of the Schengen region, as well as the cooperation in terms of energy security. In the field of security and cooperation inside NATO, the participants will also focus on other issues such as the support for Ukraine and the other partners affected by the Russian aggression, especially the Republic of Moldova, the priorities of the NATO summit in Vilnius this year, the challenges facing the eastern and southern vicinity of the Black Sea, the Baltic Sea and the Mediterranean. Scores of farmers from Romania have gone to Brussels to participate today in a protest rally of farmers and associations staged by the so-called enlarged Visegrad Group. Farmers are disgruntled by the serious problems and imbalances affecting the agri-food sector in Central and Eastern Europe against the background of the war in Ukraine. The meeting is being attended by 200 participants from 6 countries: Romania, Poland, Hungary, the Czech Republic, Bulgaria and Slovakia. 50 of these farmers are coming from Romania. Representatives of the Alliance for Agriculture and Cooperation, AAC, have announced. According to them, the situation is serious and farmers in the aforementioned countries are presently facing plummeting prices and a sharp drop in the demand for cereals and seeds caused by the imports of cheap cereals from Ukraine. And that was the news from Radio Romania International in Bucharest.
While teachers are on strike, the Senate has passed new education legislation aimed at an in-depth reform of the system. I'm Cristina Mateescu with this report by Roxana Vasile. The Senate, as the decision-making parliamentary body in this case, passed the new education laws with a majority. The parties in the ruling coalition, the National Liberal Party, the Social Democratic Party and the Democratic Union of Ethnic Hungarians in Romania, supported the 2 bills for undergraduate and higher education, saying the measures adopted will reform the education system. A system that is plagued by acute problems about which teachers, parents, pupils and students have been warning for years, and which at best have only been superficially tackled by the various ministers that have held the post, if not actually made worse. A teacher by profession, President Klaus Iohannis launched a project called Educated Romania, which after being debated for 5 years is now being put into practice in the form of the new education legislation, which Education Minister Ligia Deca, who worked on the presidential project, says it addresses current and long-term challenges.
Pachetul de lege ale educației reprezintă un obiectiv ambițios, dar realizabil.
The education package is an ambitious but achievable project, a better future for all children and young people in Romania. The undergraduate education law reached the final vote, and it is meant to address existing and future challenges so that education can once more become the foundation of a value-based society. Fairness, high performance, investment, respect and security are some of the key words which the undergraduate education law has translated into coherent and predictable measures. The undergraduate education law aims to reduce school dropout rates, while the higher education law seeks, among others, to support the cooperation between Romanian and other European universities, professionalizing the teaching career, improving access to early education, reducing functional illiteracy, adapting programs to the labor market, modernizing testing and evaluation methods, and increasing support for underprivileged children are some of the other goals of the new legislation. Opposition senators, however, believe the 2 new laws will never solve the existing problems, so they voted against them and will even bring the legislation before the Constitutional Court. Save Romania Union Senator Irineu Durău.
Nu am putut vota pentru o lege care pur și simplu lasă statutul cadrului didactic la un nivel.
We could not vote for a law that simply leaves the status of teachers at a shameful level. That only shows that today's power does not care about education. There won't be any teachers left to provide education around the country. 20% of today's teachers are about to retire, and only 5% are young. Over 70% of teachers decided to continue on Tuesday. The general strike started a day earlier. After a long series of protests, they say no one paid attention to. On Monday, the Labour Ministry decided to launch for public debate an emergency order to raise the salaries of auxiliary and non-teaching staff and to provide financial bonuses for beginner teachers. Still unhappy, trade unions said they would not give up the protest until government provides a credible solution to their demands, especially financial ones.